Good Sunday evening, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center with a severe weather alert as we're tracking a severe warm storm and a severe storm that's actually been confirmed here toward Gainesville. There was a report a few moments ago there at the Gainesville airport of a peak gust to 59 miles an hour before the warning was issued here. So radar indications here weren't picking up on the wind potential quite as much, but it has become apparent here that this is a severe storm in parts of Alachua County right now. Warning being issued here at 10:23, and at 10:23, a severe thunderstorm is located over Noonan's Lake there near Gainesville, moving north at 15 miles an hour. So with a confirmed severe storm, wanted to jump on for a few minutes. I know they're talking about the core of the storm here, that collapsing of it can bring some of those winds down to the surface, so we have to be kind of mindful of that here this evening as it does do so. Hopefully it doesn't hold together as it gets further on off toward the north. I know we've seen some different boundaries here settling up, and the storminess has tried to work up from Marion County that evolved here earlier on this evening, and now again parts of Alachua County under a severe thunderstorm warning until 11 o'clock. Pretty late warning here on a holiday weekend, so kind of intriguing to see. So let's go ahead and kind of see your other system. It says 58 because it rounds down, but 59 miles an hour is what that would be in the conversion from knots to miles per hour there when you round up. But again, we're watching the situation around Gainesville right now. This storm is collapsing in general, and that's what is seemingly has brought the wind down to the surface. And we have seen a few power outages start to come about from this. It's summertime, so this is not something that's really a big stunner. I know only a 30% chance of rain, and that's probably about right on the cover. This happens this time of year, unfortunately. So you just have to be prepared here. Cloud_WX on Twitter, that automated account there, giving you the latest information when we're not on the air about these warnings this time of year. Let me go ahead and kind of see our state power outage map right now from poweroutage.us here. You'll kind of get the idea about what's going on, and you'll be able to see Alachua County does have 2,000 customers in the dark, and trying to warn people before maybe a few more do end up having outages from the storm. We'll just wait and see, but they're talking about here, especially along State Road 24 and 26, the corridors there east of Gainesville is where the biggest concern is right now here on this Memorial Day weekend. So just be kind of mindful of what is happening here this Sunday night. People not really wanting to pay attention to the weather, that they might see the flashes in the sky or hear the rumbles of thunder and know that there is a storm in the vicinity. So it's a rogue storm, not a huge overwhelming threat or anything like that, but still something we thought we should come on for. Earlier the storm didn't really look like it was meeting severe criteria in Clay County, so we didn't go on for that one, but this one has been confirmed as a severe storm, so we just wanted to make sure it's not still trying to produce maybe some winds downburst there down toward the surface. So just going to continue to monitor this until the warning gets dropped here on the air with you. So again, could have some of this damage potential in there around Fairbanks. Again, looking there toward Waldo Road, but we'll just have to watch that, or maybe into the east. But I mean, obviously with the airport getting that report there, 258, 59 miles an hour on Waldo Road, it's already told us that we have had some severe winds reach down toward, or at least just above the surface where the anemometer is there. Of course, maybe a little bit elevated to an extent, but nonetheless, we don't have the greatest radar covered out here, so we have to kind of rely on these reports. So just jumping on, it's a rogue warning situation, nothing overwhelming, but because of the population density and the report of severe winds in Gainesville there, we wanted to just make sure you guys know what's happening here. We do have a stronger storm as well in Gilchrist County, but it's not meeting severe criteria. This is north there of Williford. You can kind of see what's going on out here right now. And then another storm there in Suwannee County, northeast of McAlpin. Again, pretty late storminess evolving here down to the south. We kind of had a lull here after that storm in Clay County earlier that went severe. Had some hail reported, but it wasn't meeting that severe criteria there in Clay County, so that was good news. But again, the winds, once you get 58 miles an hour or greater, that does meet severe criteria, and that's what we've seen here with that report there at the Gainesville airport in the last 15-20 minutes or so. So just want to make sure you're mindful of things. I know we had a storm in Central Florida earlier. We're watching some of that action as well here, not in our covered area, but kind of interesting. And we are watching some national stories. I have a feeling this storm here is kind of weakening on down, but you still got to remain on guard until the warning gets expired. And even then, remember when thunder roars, go indoors. Just whenever you're hearing that around here as we get towards Memorial Day, it should be okay weather as we're looking ahead tomorrow morning. But we'll go ahead real quick and say you a couple things here I know I'm zooming around here on some of my different maps, so let me go ahead and show you what's happening here. Again, we're always ready to come on the air with you when we have these situations. So sometimes we don't know if we're going to have to come on for today or not. Thought might get out of today without having to do so, but with that report coming in, we thought it was best to come on here to let you guys know what's happening. But I'm going to switch sources now and see our forecast model here. Let me go ahead and put our model information up because this is always helpful here to kind of track things out, kind of give you guys a sense of what could be happening. So let me go ahead and go on over right now to our GR Earth computer here. You'll kind of see what the forecast is showing for 2 a.m. here tomorrow morning. Not showing too much around, so that's definitely some good news here. Again, looking at that as we kind of plan that overnight period out for you. So I'm going to go ahead and put our forecast model super on now, just so anybody tuning in kind of knows what we're doing here with the coverage. So just kind of looking ahead there. This is 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Kind of get the idea. We're watching things. Gonna jump ahead there. You see 10Z, so that gets us to about 6 a.m. there. Don't see too much. Don't see too much in the morning. Maybe some coastal showers on the first coast in southeast Georgia early tomorrow morning for those Memorial Day activities, but otherwise looking pretty good there in the morning hours before we start to see some storminess try to get going here toward the afternoon. So that's just kind of a rundown there. And we are also watching a situation here up toward parts there of Nebraska where we have a severe threat ongoing tonight. By the way, we're still watching this morning. Let me just go ahead and put that information back on the screen so you guys know what we're dealing with there and along those lines. But let's go up to Nebraska right now. We have a storm that's produced 4.25 inch hail. Actually, it's been measured up to 5 inches. It's not showing that on the system, not estimating that high, but really serious storm here in Nebraska. Radar indicated tornado there. A grapefruit-sized hail is what the warning is for as well. So a nasty situation in Nebraska, and there's a 10% risk of tornadoes here as we get in toward over 9 hours going up there toward O'Neill, Nebraska. There you see Sioux City, you see Sioux Falls there in South Dakota, and then we have a bigger threat tomorrow, a moderate risk, a 4 out of 5 tornado risk here as we get further up toward the north. So we really need people to pay attention as we get here in some of these areas further up in the country. Risk of a strong tornado all the way to the country border there with Canada even, which we'll kind of be monitoring here from that national perspective. Maybe even have to do special coverage, especially if we get to a high risk group of a tornado emergency, something like that. That would require us to do special coverage in that situation. So again, we'll continue to watch a high risk of tornado-driven high risk, what I mean by that, but for sure. But let's get back down to Gainesville. We're getting some more reports now out of Alachua County. We'll get down toward the south here. A public caught in a reported nickel-sized hail falling near the mile marker to 378 there. That mile marker along I-75 around 9:32. So this storm seemingly has had that characteristic here of trying to be severe for the last little bit, honestly. This accident, this cluster here, just not really necessarily maybe getting reports in or really being able to see exactly what's going on. But once we hit that severe criteria, they had to pull the trigger there out of the Jacksonville office on this warning there from the warning coordination desk there, really. So again, I just kind of continue to watch things. I think the storm's weakening out. Probably going to see that warning go away soon. They're just erring on the side of caution for now. But again, we're watching some different stories here in the Weather Center. I know there's a hurricane, if you haven't heard, in the Pacific. Let's talk about that right now while we're on as well. It looks like the new advisory just came out, and it's still a Category 2 hurricane. So let's go ahead and zoom back down here. I've been watching it on our system all day, some of the information coming on in, and I'll go ahead and take the radar off. We'll go ahead and put some of our satellite information on now, and you can see our latest update just coming in on Hurricane Agatha there. It's a Category 2 storm right now in the Pacific, and it's expected to still strengthen here as we look ahead in the timeline to a major hurricane. And we'll just have to see if it kind of makes it across Mexico. It may, and if it does, it would still become let me try that again. It would still be Agatha here, but obviously, if it didn't really stay intact, then we would end up having a situation where we'd get an Atlantic named Alex. So that's something to kind of bear in mind. It's a little tricky with the rules here. They generally don't hold together enough to keep the same name, but something to watch here in the Gulf of Mexico. These models right now have it turning back in toward Mexico. We're not really doing anything, but some other models are showing something a little bit different. So we may need to watch that for the Sunshine State here in that 7-day range or so. Some of the models have it getting right now at least towards South Florida maybe or Central Florida. So could bring up some moisture. We'll just wait and see. But just give me that heads up here. Give you that early heads up here on this situation. So we're going to go ahead and move away from this right now. Let's get back to the local situation. We still have that warning in play. I suspect it's going to go away here soon. We'll look over the history of the hail track here over the last hour, and you can see an inch-size hail down south of Rochelle a little while ago. Didn't quite prompt the warning, but at this point, the storm really doesn't look severe. So I expect this warning to go away here at any moment as we're looking down there toward the south. There's current temperature. You see a lot of areas cooling on down. I see Ocala still 81 and Cecil Field 81 last observation, but a lot of these areas cooling on down here on this Sunday evening. Again, rain trying to come back in tomorrow, but morning hours for the Memorial Day ceremonies should be good here, but we'll continue to watch, continue to track. I know, again, we have that risk of severe weather up toward the northern part of the country. A new tornado warning just issued here within the enhanced risk area for parts of Garfield, Holden, and Willard counties here in north central Nebraska out of the North Platte office until 10:30. So you're going to have to watch that potential here. Watch those significant tornado parameters here and play over a 1 some areas here. And the orange and then the purple is actually over a 3, and they are here within a tornado watch even down there. As you see here, the tornado watch in play here in the yellow going to 2 a.m. Central Time for central and eastern Nebraska and southeastern South Dakota. So going to continue to watch all that. Again, the reason we came on was for a storm in north central Florida, but again, it's weakened on down at this point. We're going to be watching things up north though. Let's go to the storm relative velocity scan of things. Might be a situation we have to turn the logo red here tomorrow, depending on how things set up for that national threat. If we have to come on here for that, we'll kind of monitor that potential. We have to do special coverage possibly on all the different platforms. But here's the tornado warning situation right now in Nebraska. And the risk here for tomorrow, we'll go ahead and see that. They're on the edge down here, but you see as they zoom out, you see the moderate risk there in the red. Kind of cuts it off because of where we're at on the map. So I'll just zoom up on the radar. Let's take that radar off and just go on up. You see this 4 out of 5 risk here for areas in parts of Minnesota, parts of North Dakota, and South Dakota here. Just want to make sure you guys know. I was going to post some information here when the new outlook came out around 2 or so. Hopefully it comes out a little earlier than that. But just go ahead and give you that a heads up while you're watching here. In parts of Minnesota, parts of South Dakota, North Dakota, we have a 4 out of 5 risk here for some tornadic activity potentially. This is a tornado-driven moderate risk here, folks. So we really need people nationally to keep an eye on these areas, even though they're pretty rural. We're talking about areas there in Minnesota. You see Alexandria, Minnesota, Fergus Falls, Detroit Lakes there. Areas you're not really maybe familiar with as much as west of St. Cloud there, though. So just something to watch from the national perspective, as we just have got word now from the Weather Service. They're going with a significant weather advisory for parts of southeastern Bradford now and northeastern Alachua to 11:15. Looks like the warning here has just gone away. They have just gone ahead and canceled the warning out for central Alachua now. So let me go ahead and see this here on our other mapping. We'll go ahead and see what's going on right now in Alachua County. The hail size has come down some from what we were looking at earlier. The wind potential really went away on this, it looks like, but that significant weather advisory now I put 11:15, 45 to 55 mile an hour gusts possible still. They think in the Weather Service there toward Orange Heights, Gainesville Airport, Noonan's Lake, Waldo, and the worst right now there as we're watching things. It's 7 miles west of Melrose, but over Orange Heights in that general vicinity, at least right now. You can see that within the Doppler radar technologies. I zoom in here just try to give you guys the latest updates here, but I think that pretty much does it for now. Hopefully I don't have anything else we have to go back on for here tonight, but we'll be on if necessary for anything local here ahead in the timeline, but the national got to watch here toward areas I just showed you in that 4 to 5 tornado risk, and we'll see what becomes of Hurricane Agatha there in the Pacific. Going to be impacting parts of Mexico down there As we look toward Monday, Tuesday, there's conditions deteriorating down there. I know there's a hurricane warning in play. That's going to bring extremely dangerous storm surge and life-threatening conditions down toward the south. So let's go back on here. Kind of see that again. See some of the models with that. Hurricane warnings in play, hurricane watch, tropical storm warning. You kind of get the idea. Some storm surge here could be very serious. Life-threatening flash flooding here. I mean, we're talking about some areas there. As I'm reading over this, could get over 20 inches of rain. That's problematic, obviously. The barometric pressure down to 964 millibars there. So that could be an issue as well. The stronger this gets now, the higher chance it lingers in its current form, at least some of it here toward the Atlantic Basin. It's going to be hard to do. Doesn't generally happen, but it could still try to hold itself together enough once it gets to the Atlantic, either to cause another storm to form or to still be intact enough to maintain its current status here as Agatha, maybe a depression, something like that. We'll just wait and see. But the rules are a little bit tricky on that here, but something to watch for sure. We'll continue to watch everything. Let's get back over to our local view there. The reason we came on, storm near Alachua has weakened on down here significantly. Still a strong storm advisory here to 11:15 though. Report to Bradford and Alachua. So we'll watch. That's down toward the southern end of things here in the county. If anything else goes severe, we'll let you know here, whether it's coming on the air, doing live coverage, or just posting about it on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks so much for tuning in. Trust in me for now.